For a year, the whole industry raced to make AI sound more human. This week, OpenAI deliberately made it sound less human for teenagers. The first admission that more human was the wrong goal for some of the people using it. Two stories on Tuesday's list point in genuinely new directions, away from the breach recap groove the month has worn. One is the most important infrastructure release in weeks. The other is a small design decision that quietly questions the entire direction of the industry. Let's take both, because together they're a better use of your attention than a fourth day of hugging face fallout. Start with the infrastructure because it has the longest legs. Mojo is now fully open source, under Apache 2. If that sounds like a niche language nerd item, look at what Mojo actually is and who built it. It's a systems language from Chris Latner, the person who created LLVM and Swift, so not a first-timer, that fuses Python syntax with C++ Rust-level performance. And its explicit purpose is to unify the AI software stack across GPUs, CPUs, TPUs, and ASICs without being tied to Nvidia's CUDA. That last part is the whole story. CUDA is the proprietary moat that makes Nvidia hardware the only easy place to run AI. Every competitor, AMD, the ASIC makers, the neoclouds, wants an open alternative they can optimize for their own silicon. Mojo, now open under the gold standard compiler license, is the most serious swing at that moat yet. And the timing is loaded. It comes right after Qualcomm acquired Modular, which means a major chipmaker now backs an open, hardware-agnostic AI language aimed squarely at CUDA's dominance. For a data or ML engineer, the practical read is, this is the language to watch if you care about portability, writing AI code once and running it across whatever hardware is cheapest, instead of being locked to one vendor's stack. It won't dethrone CUDA overnight. CUDA's 15-year ecosystem lead is real. But open source, Latner-designed, Qualcomm-backed, CUDA-independent, is the most credible challenger the space has produced, and open sourcing the compiler is what turns it from a company's product into a movement. Now the small item that's secretly a big one. Buried in OpenAI's teen safety announcements, ChatGPT for Teens ships with a deliberately less human voice, BBC. Sit with how against the grain that is. For over a year, arguably the entire commercial thrust of AI, every lab has raced to make its models sound more human, warmer, more natural, more emotionally present. It's the product. It's the demo that goes viral. And here, for teenage users, OpenAI deliberately reversed it, dialing the humanness down. That's the first real admission from a frontier lab that more human is not universally the right goal, that for vulnerable users, an AI that feels like a person is a risk, not a feature, because it invites the kind of attachment, dependence, and emotional confusion that a tool shouldn't. This connects directly to the mental health and AI thread we flagged weeks ago. The chatbots keep failing people in crisis story. The industry spent a year erasing the line between human and machine in conversation. This is the first product decision to deliberately redraw it, and it's aimed at the users who most need the line to exist. Whether it's genuine care or IPO-era liability management, OpenAI, like everyone, is watching the regulatory and lawsuit landscape. It's a meaningful signal. The make it maximally human consensus just cracked. If you build conversational products, how human should this feel for this user? Is now a real design question, not an assumed maximize. Ben Lorica's piece today sharpens exactly this instinct. I think we're looking for AI risk in the wrong place. His argument pairs perfectly with the teen voice decision. While everyone fixates on sci-fi catastrophe, rogue superintelligence, the stuff of this month's breach headlines, the risks that actually touch people are quieter and more mundane. Emotional dependence, erosion of judgment, the subtle harms of systems that feel like companions. It's the most worthwhile read on the list, and it reframes the whole month. We spent August watching models break into servers, but the risk that'll matter for most humans is a teenager forming an attachment to a voice. Both are real. Only one gets headlines. The day's actual news kept the safety saga moving, and it's worth a clean pass. OpenAI tightened its model testing safeguards, TechCrunch, and confirmed it paused training runs after the sandbox escape Wired, the concrete belated response to July's breach, and a reminder that yesterday's dissolved the preparedness team story and today's tightened safeguards story are the same company doing both things at once, distributing the safety org and hardening the specific hole. Hold both. That's the real messy picture. Nvidia is leaning on its balance sheet to keep the AI boom rolling, CNBC. The financialization thread continuing. Nvidia now underwriting demand for its own chips, which is exactly the dynamic the 105B Ohio deal and the Grok NeoCloud pivot pointed at yesterday. And OpenAI's broader ChatGPT for Teens push plus its CodeAI partnership to prepare the first AI generation show the company moving hard into education and youth, a market with enormous upside, and as the less human voice decision admits, real duty of care exposure. The builder's bench was genuinely strong today, so grab what's yours. Together, AI published DeepSeek V4 Pro 813 versus GPT-5 Sol on DeepSWE, a real cost coding routing comparison, and exactly the kind of head-to-head that matters now that DeepSeek's prices jumped. This is the route the right job to the right model, logic from the Stripe Open Router story, made concrete. DuckDB shipped reconciling JSON in DuckDB, one patch at a time, a practical deep dive if you wrangle messy JSON, which is everyone. ClickHouse showed how Sony Liv delivers live streaming analytics at billion-row scale, a strong real-time case study. Databricks ran evaluating AI agents live at the Grounded Reasoning Cup, agent evaluation as a spectator event, which is a sign of how central eval has become. And Warp launched an out-of-the-box AI software factory system, TechCrunch. The AI builds the software pitch productized, worth a skeptical look. Starbursts, should I centralize in Redshift? Rounds out a solid data engineering day. The through line, one sentence. On August 18, 2 stories broke the month's breach recap groove. Mojo went fully open source as the most credible challenge yet to Nvidia's CUDA moat, and OpenAI deliberately made its AI less human for teenagers. The first admission that after a year of racing to make machines feel like people, more human, was the wrong goal for the users who most need the line held. One thing to do today. 2. One technical and one to think about. Technical, if hardware portability or CUDA lock-in is anywhere on your radar, spend an hour with Mojo now that it's fully open. Even if you don't adopt it, understanding the CUDA alternative landscape is becoming a real part of infrastructure planning as chip diversity grows. To think about, if you build anything conversational, take OpenAI's less human voice decision as a prompt. For your actual users, is maximally human and warm the right setting? Or are there contexts where a more tool-like, less person-like AI would serve them better and safer? The industry assumed the answer was always more human. This week someone with a lot to lose decided it wasn't. That question is now yours to ask about your own product, before a regulator or a lawsuit asks it for you.